Excellent. Welcome. I'm Susan Baker, holistic nutritionist and mom in Toronto, Canada. And I'm going to be sharing with you my passion for the impact that nutrition can have on health, specifically on the immune system for kids. And this is the time of year. We are in October right now, and families are actively wanting to prevent colds and flus so that there are less sick days, less doctor visits, no antibiotics, and just a healthy overall family life. So that's what we're going to get into tonight, are some food and nutrition tips and top supplement recommendations as well. I thank you for watching and listening. I'm hoping that this has a significant impact, even though it's general information on your health and nutrition. So I'm actually going to stop and share my screen here. Just give me a moment and we will start the presentation. Okay, so let's move right into it. Building a healthy immune system. There are some really basic foundational factors that are important for building a healthy immune system. First of all, what does an immune system that's compromised actually look like? So certainly a tendency towards recurring colds and flus and fevers and infections is a sign that the immune system is being over-tested and probably could use support. Other infections like strep or even yeast infections as well, and that can come out in children in thrush and other types of infections. Colds that go on for days and weeks. So it's one thing to get sick. In fact, that's not a bad thing, but you want to get over it within about a week. And when it goes on longer than that, that's a sign that the immune system probably needs more support. As well, anything to do with the skin is a sign of immune system weakness in general. So things like eczema and other skin rashes are typically a sign that the immune system is reacting to something and needs support. And similarly with allergies. So those are some of the symptoms that are expressed by the body by children. And so we look at, well, how do we actually build a healthy immune system ongoing? And there are some really basic things that we need to look at. The first one is eating good quality, whole, natural foods. I mean, there's not much more to it than that. We won't get into a lot of detail in this webinar here tonight, but we're talking about breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and good snacks in between. The second factor is drinking water. Juice does not count. We just need pure water. Water circulates nutrients throughout the body. It also flushes toxins out. It is essential for immune system health. The third is to move the body. So kids absolutely need to move their body. I mean, they seem to naturally have that in them, but think about in the wintertime, it becomes a lot less easy for children to actually move their bodies because they're outside less. The days aren't as long. And so it is really important to find opportunities for them to move. And I'll tell you why. The heart circulates the blood. The immune system does not have that same type of pump. The way the immune system circulates is through muscle movement. So it is really important to move the body. The next is sleep. Really important for sure for supporting the immune system is to make sure that the kids are getting ample sleep. Early to bed is really important. And the last is immune building supplements. And we will talk a bit more about the details of that in a moment. Okay, so how do we do it with foods more specifically? We know that nutrition alone can do so much to support the immune system. And so first is good quality, whole, natural foods. So foods that do not have preservatives or food colors and flavors, they need to be as close to nature as possible, especially foods high in antioxidants. And we'll talk about where those come from next. So fruits and vegetables. We hear this over and over. We've been told this since we were kids, that we need to be eating a large variety of fruits and vegetables, but also a great quantity of fruits and vegetables. So children need to be having, at least 5 or more servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and adults in and around 10. And these are really high in natural antioxidants. Variety is key. Specifically, garlic, ginger, and onions have phytonutrients in them, or plant nutrients in them that support the immune system. So cooking with them as much as possible is excellent. Spices like cinnamon, ginger, turmeric, and sage are proven actually in the research to support the immune system. Okay, chicken soup. Bone broths became a trend in the last few years, and there's good reason for that. So the boiling bones will actually release a lot of minerals, amino acids, and other compounds that actually do support the immune system, like collagen and gelatin. And last but not least are fermented foods, which have been around for hundreds of years. It's what our ancestors ate, but we need to refocus on getting those back into the diet. So things like kombucha, sauerkraut, kimchi, and pickles not made with vinegar and sugar. And I'm going to show you here a brand that is easily available, Cartines, that has the sauerkraut and kimchi as well. And a little tip is you can actually use the liquid from the sauerkraut, even just a teaspoon, and put that into whatever your kids are eating. It contains a high amount of probiotics. That's why we recommend fermented foods, because they contain this high amount of food-based good bacteria. And we know that's important for the gut, which in turn supports the immune system. It's all connected. In fact, there's tons of research happening in this area. What to avoid? Most people actually know this. Here's what not to feed your child. Sugar. That's probably the number one thing to avoid. And it's just funny because we're coming up to Halloween. And so we need to be really mindful of the fact that the kids get a lot of sugar. They really need their systems to be supported to deal with this. Sugar comes in so many different forms. So pop, candy, chocolate. We need to also avoid artificial colors and flavors. Processed foods. Any foods made with white flour, sugar, trans fat, hydrogenated oils, like donuts, cookies, sweet buns, freezer food. Most processed foods should be avoided. Junk food as well. We know that these are devoid of nutrition, and they really do wreak havoc on the immune system. Little bit of info: sugar paralyzes the immune system, sometimes for up to 5 hours after consumption. So again, think of all the colds and flus that actually happen after Halloween, because the kids have been, pouring the sugar and the candy into their system. Something I want to focus a bit of time on is this idea of phytochemicals, or plant nutrition. There's a lot more focus on this in the last 5 to 10 years. And that comes from this notion of eating the rainbow. The rainbow of fruits and vegetables gives us a rainbow variety of nutrients. And it's not just vitamins and minerals and fiber. It's a class of compounds called phytochemicals. This is why all health practitioners and doctors around the globe basically recommend eating more and more fruits and vegetables. Here's also what's important to consider is that in the last 100 years, we've seen a real decrease in the amount of nutrition found in the soil that we grow plants in. And so it's not just you are what you eat, it's also you are what the plants eat. And so if the plants are grown in soil that isn't as nutrient rich as, say, 50 or 100 years ago, you're not taking in the same nutrition. And so it becomes really important to ask questions around, where is your food growing? Those fruits and vegetables, where do they come from? Have they been picked before they were ripe? Have they been sitting on a truck, traveling, losing nutrients that way as well? I get asked a lot, well, why do we need to eat so many different fruits and vegetables? When we were growing up, we may have heard, 2 to 5 servings or something like that. And this is partly the reason, is that we're just needing to get more of the nutrients from more plants because they're not as nutrient rich as they used to be. This image here, the difference of 50 years shows it really well as well. So 50 years later, you'd have to eat that many more times the bowls of spinach than 50 years ago to get the same amount of nutrition. And that's information from the US Department of Agriculture. And so it's a real thing that we're dealing with, which is that our food is more nutrient deficient than it has been in the past. And this is really why it brings us to talking about immune building supplements. This creates the case, right? We live in a world that is more toxic than ever before, unfortunately. and our nutrition is lacking more than ever before. So I've just explained that our foods are growing in soil that is not as nutrient rich as it used to be. And the foods on the shelves are more processed than they've ever been. What's really great is that there is a bit of a swing. You can get more health foods more and more in the grocery stores, and that's amazing. So it is becoming easier to find those healthy foods. But this is why supplementation becomes really necessary. And so what are the top supplements that most health practitioners recommend? I'm going to list them here because it's more effective for you to take on a daily basis a short list of supplements than to have a cupboard full of supplements that you're just never taking. And so we've really pared it down here. The first is a whole food, fruit and vegetable concentrate. So this idea that we're getting that rainbow nutrition concentrated down into a capsule or chewable for kids. And I'll talk more about one that I recommend, that many people recommend as well, which is called Juice Plus. So that is one solution. Okay, it's fruits and veggies in a capsule. That's what it looks like there. The second supplement, vitamin D3 drops. Usually we recommend them with vitamin K2 as well. And you can get drops, just put them right under the tongue. And that is really essential for actually health overall and definitely the immune system. Third are probiotics. As I mentioned earlier, good bacteria is at the core of a healthy gut. And the gut is linked to the immune system function. So more than 80% of your immune system function is actually found in your gut. And so it does become really important to strengthen the good bacteria that live in your gut. So we do that through fermented foods, like I mentioned earlier, as well as supplements. And last but not least are the omega fatty acids. And I'll talk a little bit more about those in a moment. This is a great example of why fruits and vegetables are so important versus supplementing with isolates, okay, supplementing with a multivitamin. We know how important fruits and vegetables are. We know they're loaded with these phytonutrients or plant nutrients above and beyond vitamins and minerals. They're proven to fight viruses and bacteria, and as well prevention of things like cancer, diabetes, autoimmune illnesses, because they reduce inflammation in the body, and inflammation is associated with diseases. And this slide shows it really well. Wouldn't we want to get the hundreds, thousands of plant nutrients found in a whole food apple that work synergistically, okay, they work together, versus the small handful of vitamins and minerals that are found in a multivitamin, right? That are isolated from its original source and the body typically doesn't recognize and use as easily. It's called bioavailability. And so this is where definitely the nutritional support comes in. And so I'm going to introduce you to this fruit and vegetable product that my family takes, that many natural health practitioners are now recommending as well. Maybe you've heard of it. It literally is whole fruits and vegetables, and berries are included in that, that are allowed to grow to the peak of ripeness, which means that they're at their max of nutritional value. They are picked at that peak of ripeness. They're taken whole. They're crushed at a cold temperature process to maintain all of the nutrients, including enzymes. When they're crushed, they are crushed whole, so meaning the peel, the skin, the leaves, the core, which is where a lot of the nutrition lies. So an orange, for example, 80% of the vitamin C found in an orange is found in the peel. So that goes right through. Same with an apple, tons of nutrition found in an apple. Once it's crushed, it is literally dehydrated and put into capsules, which I will show you in a moment. We also take that same powder and put that into chewables. And so this has become something that myself as a holistic nutritionist and many other practitioners are not just recommending, but making available and ordering for families. You may have heard people talk about the benefit of this. I mean, if you look at the ingredients, you've got beets, broccoli, cabbage, kale, bilberry, blackberry, elderberry, So elderberry is a berry that is really helpful for the immune system. You can get it as an extract. It's found in a lot of immune formulas, and it's incredible that it's found in a fruit and vegetable product. So that's an important one to look for. This is where we can get variety, right? This is where we can get a variety of fruits and vegetables and the nutrition that comes from it. That's what it looks like in the capsules. And I'll show you what the chewables look like for the kids in a moment. Okay, this is a consideration. So omegas are really important for overall health. Most people have traditionally thought of omegas as fish oil, but there's an emerging number of products that are coming out that are actually vegan omegas, and partly due to companies and consumers wanting to find more sustainable omega sources. The fish industry is largely not a sustainable industry from an environmental protection perspective. So we get a lot of nutrition from vegan sources, and that's what's listed here: pomegranate seed oil and algae oil. I mean, that's where the fish get it, right? So that's something to consider for supporting the immune system as well. And there is what I would highly recommend, right? It's part of the nutritional support for the immune system. I'm going to tell you a bit actually about what got me actually into taking the Juice Plus for the family, for my family, and for a lot of families, is a program called Healthy Starts. What we know when families introduce Juice Plus into their routine is that the parents take it and the child takes it. The child can actually get it for free through this Healthy Starts program when an adult orders. And that means they're getting into this routine of healthy eating, healthy habits. Here are some of the results of what happens when we give the body consistent, concentrated fruit and vegetable nutrition. So 60% missing fewer days of school, 61% eating more fruits and vegetables naturally. The body starts to crave more of what it needs, what it benefits from. 66% are visiting the doctor less, and almost 100% are reaping a positive benefit of some kind. You can see here the list of veggies and fruit that most kids don't even realize they're getting because they're taking it in the form of this delicious chewable. And my daughter actually, when she was little, used to pretend that she was sick because then she could get extra vitamins because they really do taste great. I always say to the kids, unless you're going to be eating every day from this variety of fruits and vegetables, this is the next best solution. And that's really what families need to hold on to, right? Is supplementation becomes essential because we're just not getting the variety of fruits and vegetables and nutrients from food that we need. And so we like to say this is back to school or all year round school immune system support. There's the elderberry and the berry chewables, there's veggies, and there's fruit. And the company, Juice Plus, through its Healthy Starts program, has actually sponsored over 1 million families for free. I mean, it's thousands of dollars available to families, which is incredible, and the results are wonderful. Here are some of the success stories. These are people that I know. So the first I'm going to show you is sweet baby James. He's actually about 4 or 5 now. And his mom was first introduced to fruit and vegetable concentrated nutrition because he had very inflamed eczema with no amount of creams or medicines that were helping. His mom made Juice Plus a priority, so she brought the concentrate into his routine, as well as taking dairy out and making a couple small diet changes. And we always say when you compare Juice Plus and supplements with diet changes, you're going to get the best results. Within about 4 months, he was almost fully clear of eczema, and we know eczema is definitely a compromised immune system state. Here's little Camden. This is a good friend of mine's son who was actually born premature and with a condition called TEF, T-E-F. His TEF made him unable to swallow foods. He would choke and potentially die. His esophagus and part of his digestive system was ulcerated, and you can see the absolute red inflammation on his face. Desperate to help her, I shipped some of the fruit and vegetable concentrate in the form of capsules out to her. And she started bit by bit opening up the capsules and using the powder in his pureed food, which is the only way he could take any kind of food in. And within months and months of her determination, he totally turned a corner. And Juice Plus is still part of their nutritional protocol for his ongoing immune health, because he will always have a compromised immune system. And this next one is a good friend of mine as well. These are her girls, Charlotte and Georgia. The elder daughter, Charlotte, was prone to bronchitis. So every winter, it would not be surprising for her to have another case of bronchitis. And her mom got their whole family on the fruit and vegetable concentrate. And now, for the last 3 winters, she has been antibiotic free and no puffer necessary. So they are big believers. And what's awesome about these families is that these were customers who have actually now become so passionate about it. They've joined the mission of inspiring other people through health and through these real life solutions. Our story is a bit similar to that. So this was when I first started to make some changes in the diet, as well as adding Juice Plus into our life. My daughter was 18 months at the time, my son was 5. And although we ate healthy, they were both limited in how many fruits and vegetables they were eating. And my son is on the autism spectrum, and I just knew he would benefit from more concentrated nutrition because his sensory world creates inflammation and stress in the body. Just like any kid on the spectrum, they benefit then from fruit and vegetable nutrition to bring down that inflammation. Well, there's only so much fruit and veggies I could get into these kids. So I scoured the health food store shelves. I actually didn't find anything I liked because a lot of the products in the health food store have either fillers in them or herbs or superfoods like spirulina and chlorella. And those are things I didn't think the kids needed. I just wanted straight up fruits and vegetables. So I actually gave a call to my nutritionist friend who was a representative with the company, and she was able to get our family started. So I got myself and my husband on it so that we could get both kids for free. And what we noticed for sure was within about 4 months, this is actually years later, so it's not a great before and after picture. Within about 4 months or so, I would say we had our best winter to that point. So if the kids got sick, they would get over it sooner. It wasn't as intense. It didn't require antibiotics. It was less days off of school, and we just haven't looked back. It has allowed them to expand their repertoire for fruits and veggies, which is what often happens. And overall, we just know we're dealing with more resilience. And that's what I found with myself. I didn't think I needed it. I ate organic, lots of fruits and veggies. But of course, when mom goes down, the wheels fall off the cart all around. So I really am passionate about inspiring families to get on board with this, because when you can build the health of a parent, you absolutely impact the vitality of a whole family. I actually posted this today. My son was sick a few days ago, ironically, and I said, this is what you want. Caught a cold, but over it within a few days, no severe infection and no antibiotics. And it's awesome. I actually doubled the supplements that he would normally take, and he is on the mend. And this was us this morning as well. This is our supplement routine. So vitamin D, 3 drops under the tongue, probiotics, and Juice Plus as well. And that brings me to the end. I thank you for listening. I love this little guy here. Eats more fruits and veggies, drinks more water, misses less days of school, has a rocking immune system, and eats Juice Plus and gets it for free. So that is our immune system and how to support it presentation. I'm going to end the screen share and pause the recording, and I'm just going to see if there are any questions at this point. I should say before I stop the recording that for those of you who are interested in more information, you should connect back with the person who invited you to this webinar for more information on how you can get some of the supplements that were mentioned, including the Juice Plus fruits and veggies.